Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. I'm watching Kelsey finishing up. Kelsey is on fire this morning. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, look at him. Look at him dancing away. Oh, man. I hope it's not my fault. Oh, I was watching this. I watched his whole show this morning, and I was just enjoying the hell out of it. I like the beard. I think the beard is a great look. I think the beard is a great look. I think you ought to keep the beard. A lot of guys do that on vacation. At any rate, while he's finishing up over there, we will get down to business over here. We'll get down to business. Peter said, somebody said, go watch OldGuyCarnivore. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I always appreciate a great plug. And I think that even though we have wildly different channels, I think that our two morning live streams have something for everybody, and I think that's what's most important. Something for everybody, because we certainly aren't all the same. So while the blues plays in the background, we'll switch over to me, and let's get down to the important business at hand this morning, and that is to drink it if you got it. Peter's pitching away for me. Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great. All right. Well, they're all just about finishing up over there. And the students in our college that take both classes have now been, the bell rang, and Kelsey is done for this morning. And we'll see if he comes over and joins us in the chat. Tries to straighten me out a little bit. I had a great live stream last night. A great live stream. You guys were fabulous. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for that. I went to bed last night. I felt great. And I talked a little bit about this, and I want to make this my first subject for today. And that is the misconceptions by so many people about my message sometimes and my focus, and my brother Kelsey's mission and focus, and whether we agree or disagree with each other. And I know it bothers him a little bit, although he's a man that he just never shows. The concept of ranting, for example, for him would be something that you never have seen, and you probably never will see. I so admire, and that's where people sometimes don't get it. I so admire the positivity. He's got to be the single most positive person I've ever met in my life. I strive to be 100% positive, but I tend towards pragmatism. And the answer is usually somewhere in the middle, because there's a lot of evil in the world, and somebody's got to fight that and try to stop these people, while on the other hand, somebody's got to get a message to people about that life is great. And I feel that way. If I didn't think and I didn't share Kelsey's positive outlook and quest for the joys in life, and always do the best you can. And I think in my actions, I show that positivity and that drive to always go towards the happiness if you can. But I take on a different role, and I want to just take a minute to clarify the difference in the missions, which translates into the differences in the message, which I think are a good thing, because I think there are people in all different stages of, let's call it, psychological states, anywhere from depression, despair, beaten up, bloody, in a hole, trying to just get at least to the top of the hole where they can see some sunlight, and the people that are just able to have had great luck or overcome their adversity, which Kilt certainly has, and God, so have I, and are able to not let all that stuff bother them. I wish I could be that way. I can't. We all have different levels of what I think is a problem, is an addiction. And a lot of times where we come from and what we're able to do depends on that. And I've learned that no matter how strong or how positive that I can be in life, when it comes to certain addictions, I'm helpless. And educating myself, I wanted to try to figure out, well, why the hell am I helpless and the other guy isn't? I learned I couldn't take advice from the guy who wasn't helpless to fight his own addictions. But I also acknowledge everybody's not addicted to this or that, but it is I think, a real physiological state, and I've spent a lot of time researching why is it that way. Now, Kilt's mission, and I support him 1,000%, you got to know that. I support him 1,000%, is to, a lot more than my mission, pretty much, save the world. Save the world. And in his message, it's one of inclusivity and not being strict, dare I use the word anal, about anything. And his strategy, I think, in building the organization that he's building, is to not alienate vegans and vegetarians and everybody else. Anybody on a political or religious level, try not to alienate. He knows his message is going to be helpful for everybody, but you can't get everybody to listen unless you don't, let's say, insult them, hurt their feelings, or appear like a kook. So he's got the Kilt's Mighty Tribe, and he is encouraging vegans, and he's not telling them you got to be carnivore. He's telling them you can improve your health. You can improve your health. You don't have to go all the way to what you consider radical. You can just make a few changes. You can just cut out the poisonous processed crap, and you're going to be better off. Now, these people will never become carnivores, but if they exist in that community, they are going to hear a lot of important messages that may do to them what some message did to each of us in the past, because all of us, I don't care who we are, thought that this carnivore thing was lunacy. It wasn't anybody that talked us into it. We all discovered something or noticed something that kind of made us go, tell me more. I think he's trying to bring more people to that place. And in that way, I support the guy 1,000%. I'm cheering for him. I'm cheering for him. And I hope I don't do or say anything that in any way makes people think that I don't support the guy. I believe everything he believes. I'm not a carnivore Nazi. I've never told anybody, these are strict rules, don't dare do this, don't dare do that. I'm about addiction. That's it. That's it. I say it over and over again. If you're not suffering from addiction, if you're not helpless to fight the addiction, you really don't need this addiction message that I'm talking about. But I come to it from a place of being a helpless addict with a positive attitude. So that does exist. That's a real thing. It's a real thing in this world. The most positive people, the most successful people out there, so many of them are addicts of one form or another. I also think that carbohydrate addiction is 10 times more powerful than alcohol or drug addiction. But if you're not a carbohydrate addict at that level, it sounds radical to you. The difference between Kiltz and me, I think, is twofold. I think that the level of addiction is much stronger in me. And I think that, I think I need another sip of coffee here. Well, I think that changes. I said there were two things. I'm trying to think what the other thing was. Sometimes I did. I say, there's two things, and then I don't even have a second thing. But I think that we have 99.9% in common, and I disagree with him and he disagrees with me on such a small amount that you'll never meet another human being in your life that you at least don't have one disagreement. I mean, I watch Kiltz and Nelson. Now, we know those guys get along, but they have a difference of opinion on statins. The truth is, when you boil all of this stuff down, any problems we have come from misunderstanding what somebody said. But more importantly, the fact that when it gets down to the real basics of truth, the final answer from everybody, if they're honest with themselves and the world, is we really don't know for sure. And I think that's true about everything. So I wanted to clarify that. Kills and I are not at the opposite ends of advice. I say if you want to eat plants and you can eat them and you enjoy them and they're not affecting your health, or you're not having allergic reactions to them or chronic diseases, have fun, enjoy it. People have been eating plants since the beginning of time. If you can't handle this stuff, if you can't stop eating sweet, addictive foods, if you don't have the control to be able to do that, like I, and keep falling into this abyss again and back to square one, then you need to consider addiction. Neither Kiltz nor I are reaching enough people doing what we're doing to make any major dent. Our message is just not getting out there that wide. So I'm going to continue to rant about the absurdities of the world and talk about the traps that we fall in, because we're not all that strong. We have to sometimes admit that we're not that strong. I don't think that makes us bad people. But I know that Kelsey probably gets as many comments, maybe more, as I get saying, "Thank you, Mitch," or "Thank you, Kelsey. You have saved my life." So, as long as we're both saving lives, I always want to be his friend. I always want to, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand or thinks that I think he needs to change what he's doing at all. I really don't. This whole thing with that rant that I made the other day was prompted because, believe it or not, I was getting upset about how many people were asking me questions. Is Kiltz still a carnivore? Since when did Kiltz change his mind on everything? I've been defending the guy as my friend for a week now or longer, and he's not giving up carnivore. See, people don't listen. They don't listen to what he says. When he says once in a while, he doesn't mean 3 times a day. He means every couple of months. But people hear what they want to hear. And so I'm trying to defend him. And I'm trying to put an end to this misunderstanding. Number one, about how loose in his convictions they think he's becoming, and how strict and Nazi-like they think I am. Not true. If you had to ask either of us, give me your diet advice, we'd probably give you exactly the same advice. He's got the benefit over me of being a medical doctor, which I'm not. Anyway, I don't want this to turn into another rant today. Just wanted to make sure Kiltz knows I still love him. Always will, admire him, maybe even a little envious of the success in life and his ability to stay so positive and so motivating. And I think that's important, and it's a great trait, and there aren't very many people like that. So don't stop listening to him, whatever you do. I hope I got my message across. First one in this morning, or last night, Nikki W. Good to see you, Nikki. How you doing, lady? June was here last night, Patty's Garden. 2:23 a.m. Wow, Insomniacs unite, and United Carnivore is here as well this morning. Michael Pregler chimed in. How you doing, Michael? Julian's Mitch been studying the Rothschilds and their impact on international commerce, finance, and banking. Maybe that would make a great rant. Oh, those guys were Talk about evil villains. Wow, wow, wow. And partly responsible for the whole mess we're in today with their part they played in forming basically the pharmaceutical industry. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I don't like to talk about that. I'm not that knowledgeable about them. I don't want to be. It'll just piss me off. Wayne Herman, good morning from Lake Gaston, North Carolina, and me, Cool Cat, is here. How you doing? And what time are we getting up to? Nowhere near 7 o'clock yet. Mike Silly Sr. from Melbourne. Lucy Work is here. Good morning to you. And Rick is here. Hi, Rick from Miami. Good to see you. Mark C. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. How are you? Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Booby Goats. Now, everybody was over at Kilts at the time, but here we go. 6:56. Brian Dish and Rick again, and T-Pain Golf. Good morning to you, Jeff S. 6:59, a little early. Terry Sue. Steve Rogers. Captain America. Superhero in the house. And Juliet. Morning, Juliet. How you doing? Good to see you. Patty Scarlett, 6:59, and Marla Kelly's here. Hi, I'm Marla. Barry Simon. How are you, Barry? How you doing? Good to see you. Robbie Autry just jumped the gun. Oh, God, no. It was so close, the two of them again. Or the three of them we have. At 7 a.m. on the button. Lambs took it this morning. These same three horses, and Don Scheiger came in and showed. Win, place, and show. How you doing, guys? Thanks for playing. And even Brian was here. BMAT, right at 7 a.m. Jeff Streslak hit the button. Thomas on the ball this morning at 7 o'clock. Sharon McCabe, hi, Sharon. Good morning to you. And this is Cordelia from Albany, New York. Sybil V is here. This is still 7. Larry Ryan. And heading up to 7:01 minute is Anthony raising hand. Here. Morning, Anthony. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Who else we got here? Loretta. Loretta was on the panel with us last night. Good to see you, Loretta. Always good to see you. Donna Ray's here, main runner to all her carnivorous friends. And Terry Sue again. Bob Casey, my buddy, becoming a regular here. Drone guy. Hiya, Bob. How are you? How are you? Peter's here. Hi, Peter. Good to see you. Rick chimed back in this morning. Peter says, I pitched Mitch's channel pretty hard. Yeah. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And let's see who I haven't said hi to yet. We'll get on. I'm going to put QQQ in the chat if you have any questions for me. And I have a question I want to ask you, and I want an honest answer to it in the form of a yes or no. And I'll give it to you now. And put your answers in the chat if you would. How do I put this? Whether it was, I don't think it was intentional, but that rant that I had the other day, was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. A lot of people may have found that a little critical of my friend Kiltsey. I thought I made such terrific points about addiction and about why and about how. And I was encouraged by so many. Make a replay of it. That was the best rant you ever made. It was the best information I ever heard. I mean, Peter, everybody was telling me, make a replay of it. Kilsey participated in the chat while I was doing that, and I got a sense that maybe I hurt his feelings, or I shouldn't have done that. I'm a very sensitive guy, and I don't want to hurt anybody, especially people that I love. My quest is to help people fight their addiction and put it in remission. For most of those people, that requires a much stricter version of carnivore. I know that I can't even smell a blueberry without falling prey to my own subconscious mind. And after a lifetime, even as considering myself an incredibly strong person, I had to be strong to survive all the adversity I've had. I still can't control that. So I'm trying to help people like somebody who may, in all other aspects of their life, be a top human being, but is an alcoholic. That happens. That's the power of addiction. You can't just say, I don't think you can say, grow a pair. And, you know, deal with it. You have to finesse it. You have to hack it. So I went ahead yesterday and I actually cut that rant out of my live stream and made a standalone video, which I thought is great. And I have it scheduled to be released this afternoon. I also think that I probably did it in an effort to probably help people more understand that he's not telling you to not be a carnivore anymore, and that you're hearing what you want to hear, because when you're an addict, you retranslate everything in your mind that anybody says into a message that encourages you to start consuming that stuff you're addicted to. That was one of the prime points of that message. But I think maybe I hurt Kiltz's feelings a little bit. He will deny that, just like I will deny it. Because that doesn't, you know, it's just not part of our character. Should I release that video this afternoon, that replay, because very few people really saw it? The number of views on the live stream and the number of views on the replays have totaled 600. So all of that message, which I thought was hugely important to people who are addicted, is in the vault, in the can, and will never be seen again. If I release it as a standalone video, YouTube will start to push it, and people will get to see it. If it hurts my friend Kelsey in any way, I don't want to do that. I'll let it die. I'll let it die. It's a tough decision for me. It's a tough decision. I take it seriously. So let me know what you think. You think that he's not going to get too hurt? He didn't get that hurt yesterday. Maybe he's not hurt at all. Maybe he was just busting my chops. But I'm a sensitive guy, and I think that he's a sensitive guy too. And maybe you don't think so, but I think so. So anyway, let me know what you think. I say do not post the video, says Lewis. You're ranting about your rant. Good morning, everyone. Rick. I have to listen to it again, says Denise K. They say alcohol addiction is disease and a mental illness. Sugar addiction is, first of all, alcoholism is not, none of those things are diseases. An addiction is not a disease. It's not a disease. It's stupid to call it a disease. I could tell you why, but I don't want to start another rant this morning. It's how we're programmed to survive. You going to call that a disease? You may as well call your heartbeat a disease. Your heart is beating, that's a disease. Addictions come from the fact that we have neurotransmitters, pleasure mechanisms to encourage non-thinking animals to take action to get what they need. And that particular mechanism that we all have, and we would not have survived as living things without, has been hijacked by scientists and other people who realized that they could get people to bend to their will and control them by introducing these substances into the body, which cause the brain to think it needs them to live. That's not a disease. That's just ignorance and bullshit of people in our medical community not solving a goddamn thing, but creating these problems. So far, I've only seen, Tammy says, I don't call it disease. It's not a disease. That's absurd. And that's why I rant. And that's why my channel's like it is. Because I point out absurdities. Somebody's got to talk about it. Jeff S. says no. So far, I got 2 people don't release that. Kilt seemed happy yesterday. He came on your show and called you on your call. His mood was upbeat. Yeah, he seemed to be having fun. That's the net. Have you asked Kilt? Well, I chatted with him. He's over in Portugal on vacation, you know, but he called me. We had us on the show, and it was, I don't know if he was busted on me or it didn't bother him, but I didn't call him out yesterday. I basically was trying to, in my own sometimes clumsy way, convince people that he hasn't gone off the deep end. The deep end is so deep, and here, let me tell you what the deep end is, and that's what I did. Kilts and Mitch are good, don't worry, he said. Kilts seem happy. I said, okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll try. Well, I'll tell you what, if I called Kilts and said, would it bother you if I released that? I would bet you $1,000 he would say, go ahead, I don't care. Lewis says, thinks it bothered Kilts. You know, in reality, I think it bothered him too. I do. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it bothered him, and I don't want to do that. So I'll tell you what, I'll keep it in the can. If you want to watch it, it's on my live stream yesterday. I think if you're an addict, if you have problems controlling, if you keep dieting and falling off the wagon like I did for a lifetime, that is a must-see. Amy says, don't release it. Someone likes it in the can. Rick obviously doesn't understand movie talk. Barry Simon says, make it members only. You know what? I'll do that. That's a great idea, Barry. Great idea. I'll release it just for members only. So, and I'll release it right away. And I'll make it members only. And it'll be there for you. That's a great idea, Barry. Because I know that you guys understand me. So let me do this right now. While I'm talking to you guys right now, let me go into my YouTube studio and go to content and go to videos and edit this video and say it is scheduled, but let's go ahead and publish it for members only. Done. Let me check to make sure that worked out and did what I was supposed to do. And save. Okay, your members only videos have been published. Eligible members. Okay. Okay, members, you should have your phones going or computers going ding right now. And we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your input. Louis, Amy. I concur. I agree with you guys. So let's do that. And thanks for the help. Thanks for the help. I value my friendship with Kiltz a hell of a lot more than any of this other stuff. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I stand by everything I said in that little rant, however, because it's all true when it comes to carbohydrate addicts. I got that impression in watching Kiltz this morning and listening very carefully that I did hurt his feelings. Let's see. Peter said, great members live stream last night. So, Peter, any questions? Anybody asked me any questions yet? Tammy said that they say alcohol addiction is disease and a mental illness. Yeah. They are morons. Collectively. And Ellen is in the chat. Ellen, 2 moderators for the price of 1 today. Good morning, Ellen. How are you? And she plugging my buy me a coffee. Oh, thanks, Ellen. That's very sweet of you. I love it. It is Friday, however, buy me a coffee day. Let me go back to my crash commercial, shameless self, and put my little QR code up in the corner. I love this. I really love this. It's Friday. TGIF, the end of the week for me. Another week going by. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm going to take a day off tomorrow. Take a day off. AP, that's Annette. Hi, Annette. How are you? She says, hey, Mitch, I'm a realist, so I see reality as well. Well, it's. I'm sure that Kiltz is a realist, and he's been through a lot of crap too, his childhood, and he hasn't always had a rosy life. The guy's got more ambition than anybody I've ever met in my life, and that's a great thing. It's a great thing, and I do admire him. I do admire him. Rick, you know, you should know, put QQQs if you want me to notice it, but I noticed that anyway. Explain why some of us have no food addictions or anything else like alcohol, tobacco, or coffee. Usually, if you have no addictions, okay, let me give you an example. If I were to say to all of you, if you're all out there in front of me in an audience, and I would say, any of you are cocaine addicts, raise your hand. Very few hands would go up. If I went back 2,000 years and had a group of 100 people in front of me, I'd say, how many of you are cocaine addicts? Or how many of you use cocaine? The universal answer would be, what the hell is cocaine? if I went back 10,000 years and I said, how many of you drink alcohol? Those 10,000 people would have the same puzzled look on their face. The thing that causes addiction is introducing a substance to the body that it finds a use for, which mimics any chemistry that promotes a pleasurable response. And it does that through releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. And that's what gives you the feeling. And Rick, that is the same mechanism that makes sex so incredibly pleasurable that it becomes the one thing that humans seek above everything else. And that pleasure response is driven by the fact that without having sex, the human race would die. Now, everybody's chemistry is different. Now, I'm telling you this honestly. I mean, this is not a dig or anything, but just everybody not only either has an addiction or completely have a lack of addiction, and I have a complete lack of addiction to alcohol for some reason. I can say to myself, how come I'm so addicted to carbs, and yet I can live without alcohol and cocaine? Well, number one, my body doesn't know what cocaine is. You can't possibly be addicted to a substance that you've never introduced into your body and your body has never experienced. So, number one, if you've never used cocaine, if you've never drank alcohol, then you can't possibly be addicted to it. But there's a difference between addiction to a substance. We can be addicted to a million different things. They can give us dopamine responses and pleasure responses. You can be addicted to gambling because the thrill, winning money, causes that dopamine hit, causes you pleasure. Food addictions, you can't say the same thing for food addictions because everybody's eating food. So why aren't you a food addict? Everybody else is. Well, and this may be a little personal for you, Rick, but you don't make any bones about it. You're not, how do I say this? You're not addicted to sex like most of us are. You don't think about it 24/7, crave it, chase it, go on dating sites. So I would have to say that the reason that you don't have an addictive personality, with that as kind of proof, that means that in your chemistry, there's something, I don't want to say missing, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that you have a physiological makeup that evidently doesn't need or have the required chemistry or machinery. And that would be a question for a psychiatrist with PET scan machines and to do a study on people. You're not the only one like that. There are lots of people. And they've done these studies and they've narrowed it down to some kind of chemical imbalance or just a lack of a certain gene that codes to the proteins that are necessary in all of these addictive type reactions. So I would say it's a medical. For you, it's something medical. Now, how's that? More of an answer than you wanted, but that's how I would diagnose it. And I would not try to fix it either. I would say that people who don't have addictive tendencies are to be envied, because having addictive tendencies puts a lot of pressure on you. It sometimes governs the whole course of your life. Just ask any guy that's chased women. Ask Bill Clinton. if his addictive tendencies haven't created a little problem for him. So revel in it, Rick, and enjoy it. Enjoy it. And eat the iguanas. And if you can come up with a better answer, I'd be curious to know what it was. And there, you said it yourself. I think being asexual stops all addictions. I just said that. I didn't read your answer. But you're right. I think you're right. Because the strongest addiction we have is that to sex. So there you go. I went through that whole long explanation for nothing. But I just shows you that I think you're thinking along the right lines, and I think you're smart. How about that? That's great. That's great. That was interesting, too. That was interesting. Do we still have any other questions? Let me scroll down here and see, get back to the bottom. I don't see Peter or... Oh, here's one. Peter, if you want to hear Mitch's rant about the kill show from yesterday, please feel free to join Mitch's... Peter's pitching for me. Attaboy, Peter. Way to go. Way to go. Barry Simon also has a very plausible explanation. It might be an iguana side effect. I like that. I like that. Rick says, I need to save this video clip. Wow. I'm glad you... That's great, Rick. That's great. I think Loretta's got a good point. She says sex addiction is different than sex drive. Hunger is not food addiction. So there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum in everything. There's always a spectrum. Any necessary human function taken to an extreme always becomes a problem. And we're all different in that respect. Which explains everything. It explains why some people can have a nice, relaxing afternoon drink every day, and it satisfies them. Some people can eat one cookie out of a box and put the box away. Some people can eat a little cup of blueberries, for example, and put the rest back in the fridge or the freezer, and they stay there unmolested for a while. Some of us can't. It's an individual thing, and the best we can do is recognize if we're one of those people that can't control it, and then we have to bring in the addiction word. But there are people that say, food addiction isn't a real thing. How can you be addicted to something you need to live? And I understand that. It may sound logical, but it's because you can wildly overdo it, which is why we have 450-pound diabetics out there who are always on a diet. They don't want to be that heavy. They don't want to be sick. That's why we call it addiction. You have lost the ability to control it. It controls you. You can't deny that that's a real thing. You can't deny that people, just by growing a pair, will have the power to overcome a physiology so strong that it takes your rational and conscious thought ability away from you temporarily. And I keep talking about the reasons why it does. It does that so that the caveman who hasn't killed an animal in a couple of days will get off his ass, grab a stick, and go out and risk his life. When, if his conscious mind was really working, he would say, no, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm going to go out there and run after that hairy mammoth all day long. I'm sorry, it's not doing it. And when that same brain thinks it needs sugar to survive till tomorrow, you're going to get off your rock and go to the drugstore and buy the ice cream. If you're one of those people. And unfortunately for us, we're all victims of those people who have learned how to turn us into those people by engineering things they call food that are really nothing but drugs. They're drugs that make us feel so good when we take them. And our bodies get so used to the comfort and the satisfaction that we can't stop. Because our body equates them with survival. And that's why addictions get a hold on us. Our bodies equate that feeling with the fact that if we don't do it, we're going to run out of sugar and die. And they've taught our subconscious minds a lesson about only surviving on sugar, and unfortunately we become addicts. So I agree with you, Lorena. That's a good point. Addiction, it's not addiction until it reaches a certain level, because we got to eat, we got to make sure we get enough energy. We got to breathe. You're not addicted to breathing. But I'll tell you what, if you lived your life in a room where that somebody always pumped in some kind of euphoric gas, where breathing that made you feel so good, chances are you might get addicted to breathing. And when you breathed air that didn't have that euphoria gas in it, you might start craving it because it made you feel so good. Could we then call you an air addict? It can happen with anything that triggers a pleasurable response. Very deep subject. QQQ is coffee and addiction, says T-Pain Golf. I think absolutely, in a number of different ways. First of all, you got caffeine. Which is a substance that makes you feel, stimulates you. Whether it's good for you or bad for you, we really don't know for sure. Okay, back to that. Difference of opinion. It's not killing people. It's not deadly poison. Go into any diner out in the Midwest where the farmers are. At breakfast time, every farmer is going to have a pot of coffee on the table, probably a cigarette in the ashtray, and probably fatty, greasy food, bacon and eggs, but he probably has grits, potatoes, and toast as well. And they're 100 years old, and they're going out to work in the field. What aren't they eating? Doritos. They never got sugar addicted. They got addicted to tobacco and coffee. So what's really more deadly? Everything that brings you pleasure has the potential to become addictive. So yes, you can get addicted to coffee. You can get addicted to coffee without caffeine. You get addicted to decaf. You can get addicted to the relaxation that you get from just sitting there in the morning and sipping a cup of coffee, and miss that when you don't get it, even without the caffeine. You can get addicted to tastes. You can get addicted to actions, activities. You get addicted to watching football on TV, which fits right in with that addiction to munch on Doritos and drink beer. Man, you got a trifecta of addictions there. So you can get addicted to anything. So, but do you have to treat it as an addiction? Only if it gets to the point where it's affecting you so negatively that your health has gone to hell or your life has gone to hell. If you're addicted to gambling and you end up homeless on the streets because you can't control yourself, yeah, you need to do something about it. But if you have a great time, go out to Vegas once a year, lose a few $1,000 at a crap table, and it brings you all kinds of pleasure, write it off to entertainment. Don't be worried about addiction. Addiction doesn't need to be addressed in people because there's nothing wrong with having pleasure, but addiction doesn't need to be addressed until it is so harmful to you that it starts ruining your life. And I got news for you. Gaining 400 pounds in diabetes and dementia and is definitely enough to ruin your life. So yeah, maybe it's time we address the cause of this. You can call it food addiction, but most of it is carbohydrate addiction. And that's not your fault either. So yeah, great question. Great question. Great question. I still got Rick's question up there. Let me get rid of that. Sorry, Rick. Everybody really got to see that one. Jeff S. says, is beef jerky okay for Halloween treats? Well, it's probably much better than candy. I don't know how parents would take that. First of all, it'd have to be individually wrapped things because they tell you don't just any open candy, like somebody throws a handful of jelly beans in your bag, throw them away. You never know what's been done to them. Halloween is just, don't get me started on Halloween because that was a highlight of my childhood, being a young budding sugar addict. The ritual of sitting on the floor in the living room, spread out a sheet, dump all the candy out, sort it, and then ruin my life by eating it all. Yeah, but what are you going to do? Is it a religious holiday for some? All's Hallowed Eve. Hallowed is a very religious word. Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. I don't know. I know kids like candy. Kids are addicts before they're 2. They're addicts out of the womb these days. The drug companies and the food companies like that. In fact, the only hope, believe it or not, the only hope that we have of ever saving the human race from this disaster that we've befallen into is saving the children. It's too late for most of us. We're already addicts. The big problem is that we're creating these addicts right out of the womb with our school lunch programs, with the products that we feed the kids, with the tendency to use sweets as a reward, as a celebration. So these kids, they learn this young. If you can manage to keep your kid unaddicted until he's 10 or 15 and maybe starts to understand simple basic things, there may be a shot at them. And until enough of them are not addicted out of the womb, we'll never fix it. How can we? Because the kids get started. Peter says, AP just asked a question. That would be Annette. Let's see, where is it? AP question, do you think that people who are empty and suffer depression are more prone to addiction? They need that dopamine? And that is an absolute certainty. How do I say? Another way to say that, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. When do people, generally binge eaters, what's one of the main causes that says the heading for the cupboard? Stress, aggravation, failure. It's It's the same thing that drives the alcoholic to drink, the drug user to need another fix. We all know when we're trying so hard to get off of that stuff, it doesn't take much cortisol, much stress. Doesn't take much of that stuff to have us running for the comfort, the relief, and a little pleasure of some kind to offset all of this anxiety. So yes, one of the reasons why we always give advice when telling people is one of the, as important a thing as what you eat is reducing your stress and the emotional drivers of eating, because we call it just that, emotional eating. Every one of us knows that feeling. So yes, and if you're when you say empty, that's the way you phrase that, and that it's a sad way to think. It's a sad way to think about yourself as being empty. And it is depressing. And I don't know if you feel so, but yes, people like that, the addictions replace those things in life which bring you joy. And if you're joyless, let's say, if you find yourself in a place where you question every day, what have I got to live for? That's scary. And the answer, I think, to that, I'm going to get rid of this beef jerky question. The answer, I think, to that is ask, what do I do to bring joy to my life, and try desperately to find something that brings you pleasure other than catering to the food, drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever else excites you and brings you, a little joy of living. I hate to direct people to professionals, because I've been to some professionals in life, like psychologists, psychiatrists, and their advice has, without fail, always screwed me up more than I was when I went in. And I had to pay for the privilege. Hence my disdain for most professionals of any kind, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs. But you should, it's great to talk to somebody. Find somebody to talk to, at least. Find preferably a happy person. Don't find another depressed person who has no reason to live to talk to, because the two of you will talk each other into killing yourselves, and that's scary. So if you do have that problem yourself, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. The world can be a great place, despite the fact that old Mitch comes and rants about all this stuff every day. There's a lot of things I have in my life I get a lot of joy out of, and I seek them out every day. Just look at as an example, my stroke recovery. I turned it into a positive, something that I'm actually, I'd hate to say enjoying, but I'm getting satisfaction out of working hard and making it better. And instead of getting the pleasure from eating unhealthy foods and getting a dopamine hit, I get pleasure from healing and being proud of myself, sticking to my principles, and it's just as much of a dopamine hit. And it's just as addicting. And that puts me in a place where I can no more think about taking the victim route, poor me, I'm a victim, I'm so, no, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to conquer it. And even if it doesn't work like I hope it will, I can still take pride and get happiness out of the fact that I did better than most. So it ain't easy in this world. It ain't easy in this world, and that. Just take care of yourself, sweetie, will you? Please. Please. Hey, why not hand out OldGuyCarnivore coffee mugs for Halloween? Yeah, they. That's funny, Ellen. I like that. I like that. Where was that? Let me get down here. I'm almost way too far behind in this chat that I look at on the other side. It's already after 8 o'clock. Again, where the hell did the time go? Okay, I answered that question, so see. The good news about not being a doctor is most people don't ask me medical questions, which account for most of the questions on most of the doctor's live streams. And, okay, 7:52. There's Annette's question. Carnivores, dog. There's a why not hand out coffee mugs? She puts up a link to my coffee mugs. Yeah, I don't think anybody's bought one of these coffee mugs in a couple of months now. I don't push it. You never hear me say, you can get your Old Guy car. I'm tired of being a salesman. I don't want to be a salesman. I've already resigned myself to the fact that this is no way to make a living. No way at all. And fortunately, I don't need to make a living at it. I'm just going to basically not work that hard at it. Just do it because I love it. And hopefully maybe help a few people along the way. And if anybody hates me for that, so be it. So be it. Lexi's here. Hi, Lexi. Didn't say hi to you. Good to see you. My mom was an alcoholic and father a compulsive. Oh, my God. So there are physiological things that people inherit. You can't inherit an addictive personality. So I hope you didn't inherit any of those problems. CB Carmack, hi, CB. How are you? Since beef is so expensive, get turkey, jerky, and bacon to trick-or-treaters. I think the best thing we can do for trick-or-treaters is give them a pamphlet that introduces them to the carnivore lifestyle. Here, little Johnny, hand this to your mommy when you get home. Tell her she's poisoning you and killing you. And should be ashamed of her. Yeah, that'll go for a pig, wouldn't it? You'd have 10,000 like vigilante parents at your door wanting to kill you for giving that thing to their kid. Oh, yeah. I could just picture that. Yeah, Dolores says, this is funny. Ronald Reagan had an addiction to jelly beans. Yes. Being smart doesn't mean you can't be addicted. Two different things. The smartest people in the world sometimes had the worst habits. Gary says, that I provide you to some. Yeah, get addicted to me and the message that I talk about. Get addicted to Kelsey and his message. Put everything in perspective. And if you are an addict, admit it. And that's where I think I can help, because I finally helped myself. And that's what I've got to offer to this audience. It's not a very broad audience, although I think that more people are really addicts than want to admit or even acknowledge. But that won't change. People don't. How many alcoholics have you ever known who swear up and down, I'm not an alcoholic. I can stop anytime I want. I can control it. And you know better than that, because they're out of control. I was married to one of them. On top of her mental illness, she was an alcoholic too. But she would neither admit she was mentally ill or an alcoholic. Damn near ruined my life because of it. It certainly wasn't my fault. We could help a lot of people in this world. We could help a lot of people by elevating the status of carb addiction to its rightful place in the hierarchy of addictive substances. The 6th most addictive substance are psychotropic drugs. The 5th most addictive substance are opioids. The 5th, and so on, up the line, to where you get to the 3rd most addictive substance is alcohol. And then we finally get up to number 1, which is carbs. And it'll be about 1,000 feet above the top 2nd place winner in not only the power of its addiction, how long it's been an addiction for the human animal, and how hard it is to get rid of. But that's contrary to the message that Nabisco, Nestle, and all of Big Pharma want you to hear, because they're the drug pushers. And they are not going to let anybody go out there and arrest the corner boys so you have no place to buy their product. They did it with tobacco. They do it with alcohol. They tried to outlaw alcohol. It didn't work too well because the addicted public wouldn't put up with it. And if you think that was bad, you wait till any official push is made to limit the legality of sugar advertising or sugar levels in products, and the public will revolt because they're addicts. And when the whole world goes up in smoke, I hope somebody out there remembers that some old guy named Mitch said this is very likely to happen if we try to fix this in any big way. This thing that's killing us, because it's never worked before. We're still just as screwed up a species with screwed up ideas and screwed up rules and laws that perpetuate all of the shit that got us in trouble in the first place and cure and fix nothing. We fix nothing. We fix nothing. There's no money in fixing it. There's only money in perpetuating it. So that's a sad fact. And a mini rant for today. There you go. Can't let Rant Man miss an appearance. Okay. I think it's almost time to say goodbye for the week. Lexi said 128 days, Carnivore. Congratulations. Good start. Good start. Everybody's saying congratulations. Somebody named Journeyman. How are you, Journeyman? Good morning. Thumbs up, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see what time I have. 8:06. Almost caught up. Almost caught up. Oh, Robin Heron is here. Hi, Robin. Carnivorous Grandma, how are you? Good to see you this morning. My prayer, thank you, Michael. I admit you know as much as the doctors do. About some things I do. I have not had to memorize the enormous amount of drug information. See, that's what doctors spend most of the time learning the ridiculous names of these drugs Yeah, I just got an Amazon delivery. My first reorder. My first reorder of creatine and leucine. I actually used up my first batch. 100 doses of each. So I've been doing it for 3 months now. Wow, wow, wow. I had to reorder it. And we were supposed to deliver it last night, but it got delayed till this morning. So it's sitting there on my front doorstep. Yay. I still had a little left. I didn't need it today, but I got it. So that tells me exactly how long I've been doing it. And I think I am gaining benefit from it. And as long as I continue to see benefit from it, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. So anyway, thank you, Michael. Great compliment. And oh, some of these things are funny. So stuff's interesting. I enjoy reading your chats. I watch them when I watch the replay of my live stream. I do read them. I don't think so. CB, do you think that the person? I don't think that the person that was chatting as Kilts could have been anybody but Kilts himself. No, I think that was really Kilts. And the reason I know that was really Kilts is because he was texting me at the same time. And then he called in, and I know that was him on the phone. So I can understand that both Nelson and Alia in so many chats chat under his channel name. So you think it's Kilts. But no, yesterday, trust me, that was Kiltsy. That was Kiltsy. And if I wasn't sure of it yesterday, after listening to him this morning, and if he was a little digs at me, and if you didn't catch them, I'm not going to tell you what they were, but I caught them in fun, but digs nonetheless. It was Kelsey. And he hasn't been in here this morning. Well, maybe he's on vacation and really has something to do besides watch my live stream. But nothing's changed. I hope nothing's changed with him. I'm sure he still loves me, and I still love him, and I understand him, and we're not the same. And that's probably a good thing, because if everybody was the same, it would be a hell of a mess. Anyway, I posted that replay into the private community. I hope you guys enjoy it. That means I won't be posting a video today. So what? It's okay. Peter, your mom's 85th birthday. Wow, tell your mom happy birthday from all of us. The family's flying in. Great. Have a good time. 85. That's an achievement in this world. Here's somebody I haven't seen in a while, Simpson Johns. Hi, Simpson. Good to see you. What does this mean? Barry Simon, question. Mitch Fest this winter. If I can get people want to come down and have a Mitch Fest, I'll do it, but it might just be you and me, Barry. Peter come up from Miami. We'll put it out there. We'll talk about it. I'm game. I'd love to have a little Mitch Fest and have 50 or 100 people come. It would be great. There's so many things to travel for. So many things to travel for. Let me get this back to the bottom of the chat. There it is. Good idea, though. I like that. Gilream, 689 days now. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is for fun. You know, I don't count. I don't count these things. But just for fun. How many days are there in 3 years?
According to Wikipedia.
Oh, come on. I didn't finish asking you the question yet. Shut the hell up. Yeah. Try it again. How many days are there in 3 years, 7.5 months? There are, oh, wow, 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 wow. I've been a carnivore. No, it's not 7.5 months. It's 3 years. It was August. Okay, I have to pose it this way. How many days are from August 1st, 2022 until today?
1,173 days from August 1st, 2022 until October 17th, 2025.
I've been a carnivore for 1,173 days. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. 1,170. Put it that way. And Peter's coming up on his 1,000-day mark. I read he and Curry are going to have their 1,000-day anniversary, a big celebration. I missed mine. I don't count. I don't count macros. I don't count days. Broad strokes. Keep it simple. But, oh, hiccups. I consider myself, a carnivore for life after a certain point. I did it. I got to the bottom of the chat. Robin Heron. 968 days. Wow. Everybody's Googling. I can see it now. 100 people gone. Hey, Google, how many days did it? Yeah. Uh-oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, good. My phone didn't wake up. You got to be very careful who you say hey to. You never know who's listening. Well, that's great. I don't know, my friends. I don't know if we accomplished a whole lot today. Really, no rants. It's just kind of a wrap up the week kind of day. Tomorrow, you know, most of you visit with Rick for a short period of time or a long period of time. I hope you guys enjoy that. Rick, have a nice live stream tomorrow. Hope you have. May you have no technical difficulties. That would be I think the most productive wish that I could bestow on you, young man. And T-Bay Golf says, when was your last... Oh, come on, man. All right. As always going to get some of that. We will soon be in the 1,000 club. Yeah. How about that? Okay. If it was... I'm assuming that T-Pain Golf meant to say, when was your last fast? And that's just a typo. Because nobody would ask a question like that. I don't think. At least I would hope not. Happy 1,173-day carnivore for Mitch. Thank you, Simpson. Mitch, at least you don't have that heifer Alexa turning off your lights off when you speak like Lewis does. Oh, I have her doing some strange things every once in a while. She'll be listening to the TV along with me and get some kind of ridiculous cue and come on and tell me something. She came on yesterday and basically reminded me that you haven't listened to Amazon Music in a while. Would you like me to play something for you now? Now, most normal people would have said, no, thank you. I yelled out, shut the F up. But that's just me. No, I didn't really do that, but I thought it. I felt on the inside I shouted it out. That's great. Yeah, you got the desired reaction. T-Pain, this joke. Not a typo. Yeah, I understand. But listen, we talk bathroom talk here. Why not? No, I'm not going to answer it. Okay. I mean, we all haven't answered that question anyway. That's great. Listen, my friends, they play a little happy music. That's ducks. Different bank of buttons. There's the happy music. That's why you get the duck quacking, Rick, because it's the blue button on the lower left-hand corner on bank 6, and the blue button on the lower left-hand corner on bank 4 is my happy music. And I forgot to change Bank's bank because I changed it over to the other one just so I could quack for you. Doesn't that make you feel special? You should. Everybody's going to say goodbye now. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming this morning. Loretta. Getting punchy. Get up too early. Thank you for coming. Mike Sealer Sr., have a good day all. Rick, see you Sunday. Yes, Sunday morning at 7 a.m. We'll be back here with an open panel. Probably more of the usual suspects. Like to see some new people. That'd be great. And we'll see you then. Bye all. Tanya's here. Good to see you, Tanya. Thanks, my Mitch. You're very welcome. Aaron says goodbye. Rick dares us to come see him on Saturday. Ellen says, happy Friday to me. Thank you, Ellen. It's great to see you here this morning. God, you told me you tried to get up, and you're a girl of your word. I appreciate that so much. Thanks for the support. Barry Simon, have a great weekend all. You too, Barry. You too, my friend. Robin, great you could make it this morning. Goodbye to everybody else that I didn't say by name. And you know what to do. Take the rest of the day off. I'm going to take the rest of the day and tomorrow off and eat meat.